Hi, I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach, and this is the Organize Your Life podcast. I am passionate about organizing because it makes my clients' lives so much easier, more relaxed, and with more time to spend the way they want to. That's what organizing is all about, not about being neat or having the right containers. It's about getting more time for what matters to you. My specialty is chunking down this big topic so it's not overwhelming. That's the concept behind my book, 5 Minutes to a Relaxing Bedroom. And that's the concept for this podcast too, which is based on my first book, 52 Simple Ways to Get Organized. Both books are available on my website and on Amazon. In every podcast, I'll lay out a simple organizing concept and tell you why it's important. I'll include an action step at the end so you can start practicing right away. Okay, here we go. Today's episode is based on simple way number 14 of my book, and it's about using your containers effectively. I'm willing to bet that you have some containers in your home that don't quite work, or that you aren't even using at all. I find that people get excited about buying containers, and they choose them based on how cool they look at the store. They love the color or the size, and they can picture where they'll put them in their home. What they don't picture is what they actually might put in them once they get home. And that's backwards. It makes you spend money on stuff that you can't use. So, quit doing it. Buying containers based on what you need them for is the way to go. Still, there are problems with that approach too. For example, it makes sense to buy another pencil jar when one gets full. But it doesn't make sense when you stop to realize that now you've filled 12 pencil jars. The issue is not finding a spot to put your pencils. It's asking yourself how many pencils you need to find spots for. Hint, the answer is not 157. You can use containers as your guides for how much of any one thing that you keep. When you make an agreement with yourself that your possessions have to fit into a particular spot, you'll become much more conscious of how much you have and can make better decisions about what to keep. It's much easier to see how many of each thing you have when they're in the same place. This is a good way to get you to corral all those doohickeys so you can select the best ones to keep. For example, you might pick one shelf to hold cookbooks. Gather them all, sort them. You can sort by cuisine, food type, special diet, cooking technique, whatever makes sense to you. If they all fit on a shelf, that's great. If there are too many, you need to make some decisions. Now you can see, since you have them all together, that you have 5 cookbooks devoted to Northern Italian food. Ask yourself, is that too many? Do they repeat each other? Do I use each one? Is there a strong enough reason to keep each one given how much room I have set aside to store them? Now that you've filled the shelf, if you have, in the future, you have to give one book up to get a new one. Or you have to renegotiate and take space away from other books to add another cookbook. This technique works for almost anything. Use one drawer to store your workout gear. Use 2 shelves for family bed linens. Use one cabinet shelf for coffee mugs. You get the idea. Please note, though, this strategy is not meant to force you to get rid of things. The idea is to be aware of how much you have of any given thing, so that you can make an informed decision on what to keep and what not to. If you have a lot of stuff, you need to decide whether keeping it is more important to you than having less clutter. That's totally up to you. But the fact is, physical space is a limited quantity. Over and over, my clients are surprised to discover how much they have. They find they've been storing things for years that they intended to get rid of, and just didn't. I sorted through a bag from the back of a closet with one client, and halfway through it she realized she'd already decided to donate everything that was in that bag. But it was unlabeled, and things got piled in front of it, and that never happened. And she forgot what was in there. Things accumulate in our lives over time, and it's very easy for them to multiply out of control when you're not looking. The other thing about using containers wisely is that it makes things easier to put away. One of my clients once wished that everything he owned would fit into a specific spot, just as the silverware fit into the dividers in his kitchen drawer. Spoons went into the spoon-shaped slot, forks went into the fork-shaped slot, etc. Life would be so much easier if all containers were so customized. You can start to associate your containers with what goes in them, though. When you pick a container that's ideal for that thing, and all the like things fit in there well, putting things away will seem like less and less of a drag. Think of how nice it'll be when you open a drawer and the thing you're looking for is in there. No hunting around for the one thing that's not in the drawer because they are all in there. No more hunting around because the one you want didn't fit in the drawer and you had to put it somewhere else. You don't remember where that is. No more knocking other stuff off a shelf because the container is too precarious or not long enough. The right containers, just like organizing in general, make your life easier. Your task this week is to identify a category of things that's scattered, gather them all together, and then decide on the appropriate container. Alternatively, find a category that's not fitting where it is now. Put on your thinking cap and analyze what the needs are and what container would work best. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach. If you like the show, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and a review in iTunes. You can subscribe, too, so the podcast will be ready and waiting for you to listen to it. Read my blog at www.cluttercoach.net. The blog is also where you'll find the show notes. And check out my store to find books I've written and books and products that I recommend, and some freebies too. Come back for more next week.